do the next one. As you can see, we still have a long way to go. So I will maybe limit a little bit the context that I'm giving, because I already gave a lot of things. So, and then so that we can focus a little bit more to get everything ready. So usually, like when I work on these things, depending on how big the tracking plan is, it takes me, I would say, between 45 minutes and 60 minutes. So it's definitely something that you cannot do in 10 minutes or so. Maybe I could, but I don't know. Yeah, so it's totally okay. I mean, this is a process. You can also do this over a week, just sometime. Okay. Let's talk about the object. So, of course, like the object has been created, and in this case, well, for the account, it was not so important, but I put something in before. So, object can be clicked. So, for example, from a home page, from a list page, it can be viewed, and so here, view is definitely an important thing. So, we want to have that. Then, of course, it can be saved or bookmarked or however you want to call it. We just call it saved. Then, which is an important thing on Airbnb, it can be shared. And then we come to something, and so we have this. Oops. So my initial idea about this, I didn't have this. And so I had, and this is also like a good example, is like I had then the idea to say, maybe the availability requested, which totally makes sense on an object, but, and so maybe we can keep it there, but maybe we can just move it here to the request, because it would make more sense. So we just move it down, we don't use it on the object, and we continue here once we have the object ready. And so, but here you can see, I mean, there was no need to sketch out request as an own entity, but I liked it because like I thought, okay, it's an important process, so maybe it's good to have its own space. And then of course, like the activities that could also be here, I would just do here. And so like, of course, the next one is quite obvious as well, so it will be confirmed. And then here as well. So this is also gives you a good idea about how do you handle details. So this, of course, the request one is a lot detailed. So can be then booking requested, because I think it's usually as these 2 steps and then booking confirmed. So basically, this request is just a zoom in on like the trip and the object itself. It's just a part of these 2, and we go here a little bit more into details. And so, of course, like these activities are a little bit more detailed than they are. So, but here we still have something booked. And so this is now interesting because these 2 are, of course, related. Oops. This is an interesting function. Okay. I haven't worked with these connectors before, so okay, let's do this straight. Okay, so because in the end, technically, it's happened at the same place. So at some point of process, whatever it's handling this, maybe in the backend that is kicked off when something has been booked, would send out these 2 events. So object booked and request booking confirmed. So if you do this on the tracking level, it could also be like that you only do this on that you only, for example, track object booked, but later, like in your data model, might have request booking confirmed. And so, but you sketch out both, because the interesting thing is like you usually analyze in these kind of contexts. And so I like to have activities that are happening at the same time, but have different contexts. So for example, this booked is in the object context, and this booking confirmation is in the request context. So in the end, of course, it's the same thing happening, but definitely in the context, it plays a different role. And so this is why I like to have these two kind of versions of that. Okay. So then, of course, like a booking, an object. No, we're not talking about a booking. We're talking about an object can be, of course, deleted. Of course, it can be updated. And it can be, so the question is how they call it internally when they, for example, block an object or hide it, or I don't know. Let's call it also suspended. I don't know. So that we also have something where they do internally something that they say, okay, this object shouldn't be available for booking anymore. All right, let's do some properties. Here again the same. So we have the object prefix, we do the ID. I copy this so it gets a bit quicker on the next ones. Then of course we have object type, and here I can already say, so I'm just sketching out a little bit. I mean, object is the core thing on Airbnb, so you can go super broad with all the things that you can define for it, whatever helps you. So in the end, to decide on which kind of property you want to define. So first of all, maybe this I don't know, this doesn't age well. This kind of what I'm just about to say is like properties are cheap. So you usually don't screw up a tracking setup with a lot of properties. Because I mean, context is the magic ingredient of each tracking setup. And so I like to work a lot with properties and so on, and they don't really screw up a plan. So even when you then plan it out, so you still have one event and you might have 20 properties, but properties, it's a lot easier to manage than an event. It's also like a lot easier to change, to maybe remove and so on. So so my approach right now, and maybe I revoke it in 2 years, is like, yeah, just put all your, let's say, cravings for things into properties. So don't go crazy on defining activities. You can go crazy here if you want to go crazy. So then, of course, so now comes an interesting thing. So we could say location ID because we already know that we want to sketch out the location. And so this might be enough, but because like you want to analyze it quickly, you maybe already put some information about the location already here. Of course, region. So this is, I think this is like the thing that you can basically base your things around. It's like, imagine yourself working in the environment where you usually analyze things, and then think about, okay, what things I should have immediately at hand that I can use them, or what could be either calculated or joined or whatever. So just think about this. Of course, like we could have a country here. Then, so price min. Also, like because here it's important, so you usually for an object have a price range, price max. And also interesting here, you will have a price because there are some events, for example, viewed or saved or shared or booked definitely, where the price is already clear. And so like, I mean, this is like for if someone viewing something and doesn't have selected a specific date, but once they have a specific date, then basically we can already show the price. So one thing which is also interesting is like available. Because like you can view an object and it can be available for this kind of period of time. So this is an interesting thing because this can be later interested to see how much people are maybe become frustrated because they saw just 5 objects after some time that are not available because they I don't know, later just selected a date where they want to travel and so on. So, and then this This is also something. So sometimes I use list properties. So badges, I know that they have different kind of badges, and of course I could name all the different kind of badges and can do them as Boolean. So I don't know, object superhost, or I don't know what objects can be, and then true or false. This is possible because then, of course, like it's much quicker to filter on this. But I could also like say, no, this creates too many properties. I just merge everything into object badges, and then later filter from a specific value into the badges. So it depends a little bit how the values look like, and then you can make a decision there. Okay, so I stop now. I know that like I could go crazy about objects, but we won't. So because we're just starting out, and this might be just our first implementation that we want to do, and maybe extend this over time.